Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So this is him. This is the face of the man who's going to bankrupt me. In light of the release of the live stream, I thought that we would go through and do a fun little game. We're going to go through all the characters and we're going to rank them by how much I am excited to pull for them. Yes, me, just me. These are my opinions. Please do not send me death threats. If you send me a death threat, I'm going to get my hopes up, so that would just be rude. Don't tease me. So the tiers that we have are skip, need convincing, budget cut, by which I mean a character who, I want, but I'm probably not going to pull for just because I need to save pulls for somebody else. And then we have characters that I am going to pull. Then we have characters which I will probably go for constellations for. So let's start off with Odette. Odette is actually releasing in 7.0. So we actually know a lot about her at this point. We saw her 2D model in the little teaser trailer. And I'll be honest, when I saw her 2D model, I think it was just this shot where she looks like kind of washed out, because when they released her 3D model, she looks entirely different to me. I am very much more a fan of her 3D model. I like her eyes. I like her hair. I like her contrasting colors. They added more contrast to the colors in the 2D model. She was very washed out, as I said, but there seems to be a big upgrade going to the 3D model. She's got good animations, not that you'll really ever see them because she's intended to be an off-field character, but it's nice that they have good animations for her. So I was probably going to pull her regardless of her actual design, simply because I want to be able to engage with the new mechanics, but she actually looks pretty good. I especially like this little gimmick where you can hit the skill button repeatedly and she does the little twirl. It's not useful for anything, but if you're just trying to waste some time, which I often am doing, I'll just sit in game and twirl. So we will put her in Pull the Lever Kronk. I might go for constellations. I have not decided, but at the moment I'm just planning to get her C0. Next up we have Alyosha, who is obviously a 4-star, so we're going to grade him on a bit of a different curve. He obviously does not have his own banner. He's just going to appear on the banner of somebody else, presumably Odette, but we don't actually know that. So I would never pull specifically for him. So I'm just going to rank him essentially by how much I'm excited for him as a character overall. And unlike Odette, who I need to enable the new reactions, he does not enable the new reactions. He just engages with them. We got our first look at him in the same teaser trailer as Odette, so we saw his 2D model. We didn't really get a good look at him until his 3D model released, and they actually showed us some of his animations. So I'll be honest, to me, there's nothing exciting about Alyosha himself. I was more excited to see that he has a dog. Like, who else has a dog? Nobody. Nobody has a dog. But the weirdest thing, so look at this dog. Look at this dog. Look at his eyes. Look at his face. It's very blank. I don't know, like, these eyes, they just look all glassy to me. If you compare this dog to another dog that appears in the trailer, I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on here. This one looks kind of creepy, right? Is it just me? Nothing's going on behind those eyes. They're just glassy and blank. So I don't know why they gave the other dogs in the game, the ones that aren't attached to a playable character, a nice cute face, and then they give this one like just this cursed expression. I don't know. Maybe it was just a shot. Maybe they'll make it better. But even on the 2D art, it just, I don't know. There's something weird with this dog, man. I don't really need him for his kit because I have Yai and he's an off-field electro like Yai. He doesn't really help me out there. So overall, I'm just not excited about him. I hope they fix the dog. I really hope they fix the dog. There's something wrong with that dog. So I'm going to put him in need convincing. Again, he's probably going to be on Odette's banner, so I will probably get him anyway. But if he were like given his own banner, would I pull on it? Probably not. And I am grading on a curve, accounting for the fact that he's a 4-star. I understand that. Again, don't send me death threats unless you mean it. And then we have Vodyanitsa. I hope I am saying that right. And at this point, I will clarify that I have not heard these names pronounced by anyone else. So I am going by the seat of my pants. From the 2D animation, I did like her design from the beginning. I also really like her voice. She has like this weird, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like this hypnotic voice, which I feel like was very intentional. She's like siren coded. They show her emerging from a clam, which was cool. She's an opera singer. She has some lore, I guess. She must also be friends with Odette because they showed her and Odette together a lot in the live stream. They're going to go build a snowman. I was wondering if this was a reference to Frozen. Do you want to build a snowman? Her 3D model, I don't know if it's just the scenery they placed her in because she's kind of like green, but she's also surrounded by green. So maybe she just blends into the background a little bit in these scenes. To me, she looked a lot more basic in her 3D form. So she was kind of the opposite of Odette, where I wasn't a fan of her 2D and then I really liked her 3D. I was a big fan of her 2D. I'm not so sure about her 3D. I mean, she doesn't look bad. She just doesn't look as good as she did in 2D. So I don't know. We don't know, or at least I don't know anything about her kit. I have seen some leaks. I won't ever discuss leaks on this channel, I don't think. So you don't need to click away frantically. There has been nothing official announced about her kit. So we can only go off of the design. I think I'm going to have to put her in budget cuts for now, at least, unless she turns out to be like an indispensable unit in some way when we get information about her kit. There really wasn't anything special, unless they show her in another setting where she looks better. I mean, they also showed her, yeah, she's standing in front of snow. So again, she kind of looks a little bit like washed out, fades into the background. She doesn't really stand out. Yeah, every shot that I go to, she just blends into the background a little bit. I think this is the best one, and I'm still not impressed. So yeah, she goes in budget cut for now. I hope she gets maybe a little bit of an update to her design to make her pop a little bit more. And then we have a man who I believe is named Valeriy, which is a very strange name, and I'm not entirely convinced I'm pronouncing it right, so I will just call him Val. Val, my man. He was done very dirty. He looked amazing in the 2D trailer. He had this little fight scene. The fight scene was very stylistic. I liked the fit. I liked the drip. I liked the eyes. I liked everything. And then they dropped his 3D model. And yeah, this man is definitely a 4-star. Definite 4-star energy coming from him. I don't know what happened to his hair. Like, I don't know. This to me does not look like the same hair that they showed in the 2D animation. Like, it's the same kind of cut, but it's not. There's something about the color. The color just looks wrong here. It looks more gray. I thought it would be like a darker purplish kind of color. It's just kind of gray. And I don't know what's going on with these shoulder pads. They're way too big. They needed to make his actual build larger, but instead they just put these huge accessories on him to make him look big, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, Val. I'm putting you in skip. You're my first skip. From the 2D trailer, he probably would have gone in either budget cut or need convincing, but from the 3D, he just goes in skip. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Val. And then we have Pulcinella, the man, the myth, the legend himself. So firstly, straight away, I have no delusion in my head about this man ever being playable. However, if Hoyo, for whatever reason, decided to release him as is, just as they showed him here, I would absolutely wail for this man. That would be so funny. Just for the meme factor, I would. Absolutely, 100%. They will never do it. If they do release him, what they're gonna do is they're gonna crucify him on the cross, and then he'll revive as like some Timothy Chalamet twinkified version. But if they released him with this model, I would pull. I would C6 him. I would C6 this man. Somewhat similar, we have Pantalone. So I am not entirely convinced he will end up playable. There is a much better chance than with Pulcinella. But still, he to me does not look. Again, I feel like they would give him a new design if they released him. This one is too dark. I guess we've gotten Flynn's. So maybe. But I do like his design. I especially like his voice actor. His voice actor just does an amazing job. From the way he's coded, he looks like he would be an Electro, but I feel like they're faking us out because he kind of like with Scaramouche, you know, they gave him an original design and then they completely changed it when he released. And same thing with Sandrone as well. There was a significant number of people who thought that Sandrone would be Geo just because she had like those yellow accents, and then they switched her accents to red, and then she was Cryo, which doesn't match yellow or red. So maybe they do the same thing with him. But I am a fan. So I'd put him in poll. I'll poll for him. I don't know that I would wail for him. It would depend on his kit, but I do like him, so I'll put him in poll. Vesna. So Vesna is apparently in charge of the Tsaritsa's Twink army, which is a nice role to have. In another life, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to be the Twink Master. But putting aside my desperate need for therapy, she herself, I really liked the design in both the 2D and the 3D. So there wasn't really a big difference here, at least to my eye. We haven't seen too much, but I think I'm also going to like her personality. She seems kind of bubbly. However, what we do know about her from her vision is that she's going to be Animo, and she's going to enable Stellar Swirl. However, I am pulling for Odette. Odette enables both Stellar Conduct and Stellar Swirl. So I already have the ability to enable Stellar Swirl, and the characters that I would want to use Stellar Swirl for are on-field DPSs like Wanderer. In fact, that's kind of like the only other one I can think of would be Kazuha. Kazuha or Wanderer. Those are the two that I would want to use in Stellar Swirl teams. Oh, and then also Mizuki. I guess I do have Mizuki on my account because she's a standard. I kind of tend to forget about her. My bad. I don't really know whether they intend for Vesna to be an on-field or an off-field. If she's an off-field, I would be more inclined to pull for her. However, I feel like they're going to make her an on-fielder because we already have Odette as the off-field that enables Stellar Swirl. And then we also have the Tsaritsa, and usually the Archons are off-field. Not always, but usually. Zhongli, Raiden, Nahida, Farina, as well as Columbina, all of them are off-field. Really, the only on-fielders are Mawika and kind of Venti. They just tend not to make the Archons on-fielders. So I suspect that the Tsaritsa will also be an off-fielder. So we already have 2 off-fielders that are going to enable this reaction. So I feel like they're going to have to make her an on-fielder. And that just doesn't work for me. Given the other people I want to pull for, I think for the moment, I'm going to have to put her in budget cut. I think I'm going to have to put her in budget cut. If she's an off-fielder, then I will reconsider. But for now, I'm going to put her in budget cut. I'm going to put her above Vodyanitsa, but both of them are in budget cut. And then we have, I forgot her name. What is her name? Danica. Danica is her name. Danica. What to say about Danica? She had a very impactful entrance. It was very mysterious in the 2D animation. But her design, I really don't know what's going on here. She has a very strange design to me. It does not spark joy. It does not resonate. Honestly, I kind of like the dead look in her eyes. I kind of like that. I don't know why. Again, this video is not for therapy, so we won't delve into what that means. But I do like it. So personality-wise, I might end up liking her, but this design is not for me, to be honest. Look at them walking together. Again, I feel like they're going to have a really interesting dynamic because they seem like completely different people. I like that. It's just the design. It's just the design for me. I don't know what they're going for here. She looks like a maid, kind of, but also an assassin. I really don't know. The color palette is weird. The accessories are weird. The skirt is really just like, why is she on display? Why is she? It's like when you go to a deli shop, you know, and they have all the sandwiches in like the clear plastic so that you can see everything that's happening on the inside. This is a really weird example, but like, why? I don't understand. If they had just given her like a full, like, either do it or don't do it, you know, like, I don't get this. I don't get this drip. What are they going for here? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. She goes in the skip, even below Val. I'm sorry. Noi is interesting. We haven't seen much of him. They have just shown this one clip from the 2D animation. We have not seen a 3D model yet. They showed the 2D animation when they released it, and then they just showed it again in the live stream. They never gave him, unless I somehow missed it, I have not seen this man's 3D model. But I really like his design. I also like his voice. Without seeing the 3D model, I can't say for certain that I'm going to pull for him because, again, it could be the same as with Vodyanitsa, where I really like his 2-dimensional model, and then they release the 3D and he's not anything special. Budget cut, pull for him. We're just going to add a row. We're going to call it Noi. I don't know if he goes in budget cut. I don't know if he goes and pull the lever. I really like his 2-dimensional model, but we haven't seen the 3D, so it makes it difficult. So he gets his own category. What a Chad. Oh boy. And then we come to Mitya. What to say, how to say it. There are no words. Wow. They knocked it out of the park. The 2D model, the 3D model, incredible. 10 out of 10. He and the Tsaritsa both, I think. For the male models, he is top tier. He is the best of the patch, in my opinion. He and the Tsaritsa have just such different designs that I couldn't say which one is better, but they are both incredible. I will pull. I will swipe. I will do it all for Mitya. Peak. We don't know what he is, or at least I don't. Again, maybe there's a leak out there that says, oh, actually, should I mention this? I don't think this counts as a leak. There is a screenshot floating around which shows that he does have an electrovision. It's not clear if it's a regular vision or a new stellar linchpin, whatever. But supposedly he's Electro. So we do know that. But other than that, we don't know anything about his kit. But regardless, I don't care what he does. I will pull him. I will pull some number of constellations. I will go into debt. And then we come to our girl, the one and only Tsaritsa. So as I just alluded to, out of the female characters, she has the best design, in my opinion. I was really worried. Some of you may have seen like the discussion about, oh, is she going to be a pink-haired little frilly girl? And I'm so glad they didn't go that direction. I'm very happy that they gave her like this, how to describe it, this, like she's still like, it's still Hoyo. They still made her a beautiful woman, but she has this otherworldly, ethereal, vaguely threatening look, kind of like Galadriel from like Lord of the Rings, you know? She has that vibe, that unknowably ancient and powerful vibe, and I am down for it. Queen, 2D, 3D, she does it all. She does it all. Also, I just want to point out this shot. So they show her walking. Here she is. She has this nice little fur, I don't know fashion words. It's whatever. It's fur. She's wearing fur. Look at the difference. Look at the difference here. How do you know that you're the main character in a story? This is how. If you look down and your fur looks like this, you made it. If you look down and your fur looks like that, you did not make it. Sorry, dude, you're never going to be playable. I'm not going to pull for you, homie. I like her heels too. I'm just noticing that now. I really like her shoes. I like her cape. All of her accessories are top tier. Yep. Peak. She goes in the top tier. Oh, I'm gonna have to decide, aren't I? I can't decide. The website is forcing me to put one of them ahead of the other, but ignore that. Your eyes are lying. They are not, they are the same. They are same. Same tier, same slot. They're tied for first. And then we come to Pierro. So he did not actually appear in the 2D animation, which is what I based the order of the characters on. So he appears last. We didn't get much about him. We really only got this one shot where he just like looks menacing, which is fine. I am a bit worried about the texturing here. This does not look like playable character texture to me, but the counterpoint is, I don't know if they would go all out like this if they weren't planning to make him playable. So I feel like he'll end up playable. Maybe. I hope so. Don't know anything about him other than I like his design. We are going to put him in poll. Yeah, I'll put him ahead of Pants. I'll put him ahead of Pantalone. And then finally, we have two characters that did appear in the 2D animation, but I still put them last because I really don't expect them to be playable, at least not yet. Maybe at some point we'll get the shades. Ronova, she looked peak, as always. Whenever you see a shade, you know things are going down. If they released her in the future, I would definitely pull, and I would probably go for cons. I don't think they will, but if they did, yes, peak. I like how threatening she looks. She's kind of like Arlecchino. I wasn't actively playing the game when Arlecchino released. I had been taking a break because life got busy. But if I had been playing at the time, I would have pulled Arlecchino because Arlecchino has some incredible drip. And the same is true of Ronova. They both look like you would ask them to kill you and be grateful when they did. Good design, good aura. If they made her playable character even half as powerful as they show her being in the lore, she would be completely cracked, which kind of makes me think they aren't gonna release the shades just because how would they would have to make like some reason why they aren't as powerful on your account as they are in the lore, which maybe the same could be said about like Nouvellette, which they didn't really do. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like they're just not going to release these people, but I hope they do. And if they do, I would absolutely go full ham for Ronova. And then we come to Rhinedottir, and it's the same story. I think I would actually put Rhinedottir ahead of Ronova. Ronova is powerful and threatening, sure, but to me, Rhinedottir is on another level. She has like clawed her way up the ladder in a way that I don't think anyone else in the game has. She's part of like every faction. If there's drama going down somewhere, Rhinedottir is probably involved. She is that bitch, you know? If they release her, I will pull. I hope they release her. I hope she is Geo. I hope she works really well with Albedo so that I can play them on the same team. Top tier. In fact, you know what? I think out of all the characters in the game, Rhinedottir is the one I would be most excited to have on my account. So I'm actually going to put her ahead of these other characters. I don't expect that they will ever actually release her, but if they do, oh buddy, I would probably try and C6 her, full stop. All right, so here's my list. I might have gone a little overboard. I put the budget cut option here specifically so that when I saw that I was planning to pull for way more characters than I could afford, I could probably punt and put more here. I don't know who to demote. So let's see. So how many wishes do I actually have? Because we only have like what, a week and a half? Oof. Okay. In another 5 Primogems, I'll have 85 wishes. So 85 wishes and a week and a half left to save for Odette. Am I on a pity? I don't think I'm on a pity. No. So I'm at 5 pity, not on a guaranteed. Okay. I am not free to play. I do spend money, but I do have a budget, and maybe this is a little bit too optimistic given that the free to play wishes that I have right now are only 85. But then again, it is a whole new region, so we're going to get some exploration. We'll see. I don't know. I can't afford. I mean, there's several here that aren't actually going to be released. We're for sure getting Mitya. We're for sure getting the Tsaritsa. So really, those are the only two that I'm planning to actively whale for, and then we have Odette. So I guess that's not too many. So yeah, I think this actually does work. If you exclude all the people that probably aren't actually being released, this to me looks reasonable. Okay, yes, final answer. I'm locking it in. This is what I say. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I will now take your death threats. Please and thank you. I kid. People don't get angry on the internet. That doesn't happen. I'm sure everyone will be completely normal about this. With that, thank you all for watching. My next video will probably be a Sino build video that I've been working on, but Homie is way more expensive and demanding than I was expecting. I've been building him for 2 weeks now. Well, a week and a half. But eventually that will be coming. So if you are at all interested, please hit the subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, send me your firstborn child, and let me know what you think about these characters. If there's any Danica stans in the audience that want me to go to hell, then feel free to say so, and I probably will. Bye-bye.